So let's see. April 10th is the Rise Up initiative. That is Palm Sunday. It's a Sunday, and we are going to be delivering, or you're going to be picking up, a ham lunch. And this is an event that was started back a couple years ago with State Rep Mike Soder. So today's the last day to register for that. So if you haven't yet and you are interested in either getting a meal delivered to your home, or if you want to come here to the Senior Center and pick it up, you are welcome to do that. That's going to be Sunday, April 10th from 11:30 to 1:30. Right now, I'm in the process of setting up all the schedules and tallying up all the meals. It looks like we're going to have over 300 meals being either delivered or being picked up here. So it's a huge event, a big project, but it's exciting that we're able to help that many people. So, also on Wednesday, April 20th, we are having a luncheon for our volunteers. We have lots of volunteers that help either at the Senior Center or in other town departments as well through the Senior Work-Off program. So we want to honor our volunteers. They're a big part of our community and helping our residents in town. So that's going to be happening on Wednesday, April 20th. So if you'd like to join us, please RSVP for that luncheon. Yes. Oh, yeah. Everyone is welcome. Yeah. On Friday, April 29th, the Senior Center is having an open house here from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. That is to show off our new look. As you can see, we've had some construction, new floor, painting. So lots of new things happening here. So everyone's welcome to join that as well. And lastly, I want to say the Easter party that was scheduled for April 15th has been rescheduled for the 22nd. We will still have lunch on the 15th. It will be fish that will be served. It was an oversight on our part. It is Good Friday, so obviously we cannot have ham on Good Friday. So we're going to reschedule the Easter party for the following Friday, which would be the 22nd. So we will still have lunch on Good Friday. It will be fish, and then the party will be the following week. Did I miss anything? No? Sally, any announcements for activities? Sally?
April 13th, going to the buffet and fire buffet.
Oh, yep. Sally, do you want to announce that?
April 13th buffet.
I was going by the rule, by the thing there.
Police
Jack, we're definitely going to the fire
pansies.
buffet.
Sorry. What was that, Sal? Yeah. Sign up on the board.
It's on the 13th, Wednesday, April 13th.
Okay. And then Flora reminded me the pansy seal for the Lions Club. So if you're interested, we do have some order forms. Today, I think, is the last day to order. Place your order for pansies if you are interested, and you would pick them up next Saturday, the 9th, here in the parking lot. And they're beautiful. I just got mine last Saturday. I got some early and from the Lions Club, and they're absolutely beautiful. So, and the price is reasonable, $20 for a huge basket. It's very, very good. All right. Anything else? All right. I want to welcome the chief. I want to welcome John Weiss from the Board of Selectmen. And Jean from the police station. Thank you for coming. Nice to see you. And then also Viola. So the chief will be making an announcement on Viola as well. But thank you for coming. All right, so let's do a moment of silence before lunch, please. All right, thank you. Enjoy your lunch.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome again to another Lunch and Learn. I'm Chief Montminy. Thank you for coming down. I have a couple of announcements, and then I'm going to turn it over to our guest. My first announcement is, for those of you who might not remember, we have a drug take-back box at the police department. So if you have outdated or expired pharmaceuticals at home that you need to get rid of, you can put them right in the box at the police department, and we destroy them in bulk. So it's better than throwing it down the toilet or doing something like that. If you've got stuff that you don't want in the house anymore, bring it to the police department and put it in the box, and we'll take care of it for you. The only thing we ask you not to do is no liquids, okay? Because what happens is people drop them in the box and they shatter, and then the liquid goes everywhere. So, but if you've got pills that you want to get rid of, or you didn't finish the pills that the doctor gave you, you want to get rid of them, we'll take them all back for you. Now, the other announcement I have is very, very important. April 11th is my 35th wedding anniversary. That's important, right? Yeah. Almost as important as that. Today we have a special treat for you. Viola is here from the West Hill Dam, and she is a park ranger there, and she's terrific. She's going to talk to you today, but I want to point out that last week we had a lost person in the park at West Hill Dam, and the first person we called was Viola, because she knows the park forwards and backwards. It's how many acres? How many acres? 1,350 acres. And without the park rangers, I don't know what we would have done. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Viola.
Thank you, Chief. Thanks, everyone. I know somebody who knows 1,350 acres as well as I do, and where the frog ponds are in the snake skin. And ask Sally if we don't get to it today about the pooper scooper law I put in her wedding for the horses, because she was pissed. Which kind of on that topic, so I'll try to start in this present moment for a minute. I don't think Donna's here today. Somebody by Donna called and wants to book the shelter on the 28th of May, Memorial Day weekend. I'm hoping it was for the Uxbridge seniors to come for a cookout. No? Okay, I got to keep looking for Donna. I've tried everything I can think of. No. Okay, well, there you go. Hey, Donna, please. So anyway, I was trying to pick how or where or anything to start, because once I got into these time capsules and all the things I've been hiding and collecting out there, and my first week here, moved here in an old Volkswagen car, all the way from California. Don't remember what gas was. And they said, congratulations, welcome to the dam. I'm out here at the old Quaker Motor Lodge. They gave me a couple of keys in the attic and a box with a couple of files and said, welcome to the Corps. And right behind that, they said, your bathroom, so we'll just get right down to the crap of the matter, is up the hill. I'm happy to say this two-seater outhouse went all the way till, I think, 1996. Straight up, it was the public bathroom, too. I'm happy to announce we have water and many other wonderful amenities now. It is a chicken coop in Charlton. I recycle everything. You've been warned. But to get us from today, then, now I don't have to worry about Donna anymore. I thought I'd start with this, and also from a woman from Uxbridge who told me back from the age of 9. But I want to take you back a little bit to why West Hill Dam is there. So, cross-country rides in a motorboat aren't too common in Uxbridge. This is Monday, August 29th, 1955. Cries for help were heard early Saturday by residents of Millvale Road below Susan Parkway. Any of those ring a bell to you? They're not ringing a bell to me, but it's Uxbridge. The faint sounds came from the old Motor Inn area, which I suspect is that old Quaker Lodge where I started my exploration here. 400 yards from the shores of the swollen Blackstone River, the cries were heard. No rowboat could hope to traverse that swift current, and the water was more than 6 feet deep across the road. Police and firemen, saying they're still here nowadays. Woohoo! And if you all don't know Roy Henry, ask me questions later. Oh, gotta do my homework really quick. It's 20 after 12. Who's a good clock watcher? All right. Let's see, 20 after 12. So how about at 10 minutes till, no matter what, just grab the microphone, shut off the batteries, turn him off. And because I only have one announcement after that I have to give. I tell the kids in the grade school, you stick a sock in my mouth, it's okay. No rowboat could hope to traverse the swift current, and the water was more than 6 feet deep. Police and firemen were called, and Chester Brown, I'm hoping some of these names ring a bell, and George Tankrell, which you still hear the name Tankrell in town nowadays. Oh my gosh, okay, didn't know you were even in this story. Here we go, Betty. Woohoo! You're on, lady. George and Chester shortly arrived on the scene with a small motor launch. After a search, they discovered Leyland Farnham, another name, age 68, desperately clinging to the limb of a tree. He had been swept away while trying to rescue his horses, one of whom subsequently did not survive. He was brought to shore by the aid of these gentlemen. 1955, Hurricanes Connie and Diane, back to back in about a 5-day period. You had 21 inches of rain, a little over, going through this whole valley. You know what a million or a billion is nowadays, and I'm going to bring some money into that in a minute. But back then, think what billions meant. 4.3 billion, and all the way down as far as Woodstock, Connecticut, and other places. Uxbridge and a lot of the towns in here got on board right away. The Federal Flood Control Act was actually back in 1944, which gave you a chance for joint funding, design, and construction of flood control structures or dams. That was when West Hill Dam was actually started the design in 1958 and was dedicated in July of 1961. So think of the toys, who was president, all those little things in 61, talk about each other at the tables and give them some ideas. But anyway, so that's when it was dedicated. Who has had, actually let's go back to 61 for a second, because I said I was going to bring some money into this. So you ready? You can build your house in Green Acres, Bellingham. Green Acres, come on. You ready for the price? Who wants to take a guess at what a house was in Green Acres in Bellingham in 1961? More than 10,000, I'll give you a clue, and less than 20. Any takers? I hear 13. Any other takers? 15. You ready? Right on the money almost. 11,950. And it said 30-year mortgage, $200 a month. I'll give you the idea of the interest rate. What do you think you paid? And think of your own mortgages and stuff over the years. What about your loaf of bread in 1961? I hear 43. It's going to be less than 50 and higher than 20. 36. 25 cents. Anybody in the back of the room? 17. 23 cents. What was it wrapped in? Because an Uxbridge resident that actually won the contest at the high school in 1926 for your school mascot. So maybe you know the name Cassidy in town. So Mary Cassidy and Joe and all them, some were priests and did many things. But before I forget, do you know her sister Margaret? Because you can go visit something today still. Margaret studied under a sculptor at the Vatican. One of the first females ever chosen, left Uxbridge in a boat and sailed to Italy. Worked in the Vatican and did the Hall of Saints, the Newman statue on top of the Newman Center at UMass, and the Prometheus her brother-in-law did in Rockefeller. And there's a statue of St. Francis, and I want to say it's Providence College. And the Vatican sent back to us for her funeral in their family plot. We have one of the Madonnas is on her tombstone down here in the cemetery close to Taft or McCluskey. And is that St. Mary's Cemetery? I don't know for sure. Okay. So you can go to her family plot and you'll get to see that carving. And I got to meet Margaret and Mary and stuff. I spent 14 years over at St. Camilla's hanging out with Mary, but I wouldn't shuck her oysters for her. It was my limit. And I don't like horseradish. But maybe to take us back to that for a little bit, for a couple more seconds, and then I just want to see if there's anything out on the tables getting your attention and start bringing us up to the modern era and Sally's days at West Hill or some of your days. And I know I saw Bruce out here today and Dorothy and so many other faces, and I bet they have stories. If nothing else, Bruce is going to be my natural resource officer. Teach him what, Bruce? Don't feed the animals. Park Rangers maybe, but don't feed the four-leggeds. I don't know if anybody knows Mary Helen Hibber, or Hibben. She's got beautiful handwriting here, but she came to the 50th anniversary, and her comments were, memory of a 9-year-old. My earliest memory was seeing the yard covered in water. It rose up to the windowsills. My sisters and I ran upstairs, put on our bathing suits. Our yard was now a swimming pool. Yippee. Mom caught us running out the back door and made us stop. We so wanted to go for a swim, but you don't ever say no to Mom. Sally knows that too. Can you imagine, I'll have to read her handwriting, 5 little girls crying. You can hear 5 little girls crying. She sat us down and explained how very dangerous it was, especially referred to some unknown critters in the water. But I bet all of you have had a mom in your life that didn't want to scare you about other things, but told you in a way that you could relate. Might be a snake in that water or something. You instantly went, yeah, not going. I can still remember fighting with my brothers and sisters over who was going to lick the egg beater. And my mother would tell me, you won't get a full cake unless I get every drop out of the bowl. So years later, I called her up from college and says, yeah, I mixed up half the box, ate it raw, and I'm now cooking the other half. And guess what? I got a whole cake. And Mom said to me, honey, it had raw eggs in it, and I didn't want to scare you, so I told you I had to have every drop. So I bet every one of you could come up with a story out there today of what you did somehow to protect someone and relate to this mother telling them there were critters in the river. So here was Mom's solution, though. She sat us down and explained about all the dangers, and after we had had our soak in the tub, because we got to fill up the tub and splash for an hour, we came into the kitchen to see a picnic supper laid out on the floor for us. All of you probably have been a mom, a grandma, a neighbor, something, and have done something like that, and that picnic makes me think of Sally and Ruthie's place, and the tables over there that were laid for, Lord, probably from the 70s till later, earlier than that. Okay, so yeah, there you go, see? Y'all gotta get, before you leave today, we have pens out, y'all gotta start writing the rest of your stories in this book so it gets kept forever. Yeah. There are many pictures and artifacts and things out on the table, so if something out there from Misco Bottling to Narragansett or something is bringing up anything for anyone, later today, if you want to come through the Blackstone books, play in the boxes or anything else, you're welcome to do so. If you want to read through some of the things people wrote back in 2011 when they came to the 50th, but they were the original farmers that had the 2 farms on the backside of Harrington Pool. So I'm going to read you that one next because it tickled me. And then old Ken Girton on the other side of the pond. Oh, then there was great Aunt Mary, too. She's a hoot. But anyway, she used to come down that day. How many know Rice City Road or Old Rice City Road? Well, Aunt Mary would come down, and I don't know what that thing was. I called it a Rambler. It had a stick on the column. Was that like a 50s car? You going to town this way today? Me going to town? Me do. I'd be like, oh, honey, not today. You don't. You got to turn around. You do. Oh, no, Gladys. She always called me Gladys. Never remember my name. Gladys, me go to town this way. Me do. Well, they found out she's the great aunt of the police chief from Upton. So I called him up one day and says, I got to talk to you about this Aunt Mary. He goes, well, I don't want to take the tires off the car yet. That is the way she used to go to town. Me do. Anyway, I finally got Aunt Mary turned around, and she quit coming and terrorizing my summer rangers, which was good. Which unfortunately, I should just hang out with you all. You're bringing back some memories. Then I want to just open it up for a minute, see if all of you have something to share too. Because you can come up here and play with anything. My first summer there. So, and somebody remind me to tell you about Quaker Motor Lodge, my first week there. But my first summer, I still don't know this old gentleman's name, and I'm sure he was French-Canadian. He came every morning around 6 o'clock, swam his laps in the Buff, laid on the beach in the Buff, dried off, and he'd be back every night around 6 o'clock and do it again. He didn't have a tooth left in his head. My long red-haired first summer ranger, Katie. Viola, he's over here again. He's clicking his gums at me. He has no teeth and he's butt naked. Get over here. I cannot tell you how many mornings and nights to go get butt naked. To which I looked at him one day and I said, you and I have got to get to an agreement here. You may not swim. Let me think. The park gates opened at 8. You better have those laps done by 5:30 and be dry, and don't you be on this beach. Got it? And tonight, you can't swim till after dark at 8:15. Everything went great from then on. I didn't have Katie anymore. He's clicking his gums at me and the whole 9 yards. But Quaker Motor Lodge, I was talking before about prices and stuff and getting here and coming here in that old Volkswagen. So here I am, found a room out here at the old Quaker Motor Lodge. Been here 2 days after driving across country. Hurricane Bob came through. So that's probably my first hurricane memory. So that was August 19th, 1991. Had to stay out at the dam at first, secure everything, and generators and covers and everything we were doing. And when trees were starting to fall on the roads and my boss didn't think none of us would get home, she said, you can leave. Made it out to the lodge. The guy came by about 3 hours later that night and said, here's your lights, honey, and gave me some votive candles. Told me to throw away my 3 pots of flowers that I still managed to save in the old Volkswagen all the way across country, including the palm tree. Get rid of it. Honey, buy yourself some new plants. And then I'm watching pine trees with root balls blow past the door. Your Blackstone Corridor Rangers had just started that year, too. There were like 17 of us living in that old motor lodge, if you can imagine. So ask some of them someday. Chris Stein, a lot of them have gone on to be superintendents and everything. But out there starting out in that old lodge and that. And I get to work the next day and I was told, yep, Viola, you got 3 days. Go open the road to the park. Don't touch the live wires, and here's your chainsaw. So, yeah, you know, I never drove. Get on, I'll give you a lesson. My biggest lesson I ever learned was do not go over the speed bump in 8th gear, which I got it to 8th, without your seatbelt on. Blue Cross and Blue Shield didn't like that. Oh, I survived. I don't know. I don't even know how to get into the next things or wherever to bring you up to a next year. Is anything sparking any memories or anything? Or what was your first hurricane or flooding or something? I don't have the cow, but I do have the one. Oh, the car. That's the one. Yeah. So you know the name. Thank you. Was he from the fire department helping? Okay. What was it, the 36 truck or the 38 truck? That's what I was trying to remember. Wait a minute. It's here somewhere. It's like Prego. It's in here. Oh, that's George. But yeah. And it made it Life magazine, if I remember. It wasn't Time, it was Life. Uxbridge was on the front, and that truck is still down here. So Sally and you guys, maybe a trip to the fire museum someday might be one of your trips you have. Okay, because that original ladder truck is still here. Okay, he's the one that waited in that picture, huh? Oh, I believe it easily, yeah. Okay, yeah, because if you haven't been in that water, and that was the one that was on the front of the magazine, and that was your own Uxbridge fire truck, which I think is good. Anybody else having any thoughts pop up? Because my brain will just spin till you all make me shut up, so it's no problem. So I told you I was going to read another cute one from somebody back then. 4 dairy farms, and you can still come out and see these old stone foundations and the wells, because we have them on our historic register and they're saved. So the old Farnham Farm, and I don't know the name of the 2 on the other side of the pond, Harrington Pool, but the one woman was a dairy farmer's wife, and she came and wrote in our book, but I thought this was cute. Some of you will relate to this. If I can find her real quick. Might have been Mrs. McKay. Let's see. Nope, that was the sad one. We'll skip that one for a minute. Gladys? Let's see if it was Gladys. Shirley. Any Shirleys in the room? This might be you. You've been warned. So Shirley talked about, she was still the farmer's daughter at the time. She was about 12 on the back side of the pond. And old Ken Gerton on the other side of the pond. I swear that big tree we got on the corner of that park down there is the old kissing tree and God knows what else. But anyway, Shirley says, Ken, let's go up to the hayloft together. Ken, don't peek. I'll hold my skirt together. She went up the ladder first to the hayloft on Dad's farm, which I thought was cute. To which later she says, I just know Ken didn't peek, and that's all she wrote in our book. So the romance and stuff that's happened, which a little bit on that note, who had their wedding at West Hill? Ta-da! You care to come share anything about the wedding, or what would you like to say? Okay, knock your socks off.
Yeah, so you have to put it recording.
I'll hold it behind you and you just come. Whatever you like.
So you guys know me, right? A little bit? So I grew up at West Hill. Actually, the ranger that I grew up with that I knew the most was JoJo. And Steve, which was the love of JoJo's life.
Yes.
And he had many rangers who were in charge. And I had the most amazing life. I was the youngest of 6 with a single mom who took us to West Hill every single day of our lives. Monday through Sunday, we were at West Hill. We had 3 meals a day there, and it was probably the best life you could ever live.
Yeah.
I spent my days in a frog pond, not 1, not 2, but 3 frog ponds, up to my neck in green gook. And I have pictures of me covered.
Because the frogs blended, and guess what her son used to do? He's the one that knows those ponds and knew them back then.
Yeah,
At the age of 8, good old Eddie.
Yeah.
Every bullfrog chasing the girls, all summer long. So I have
We
extra
had
copies of
a
this.
blast there. So when I met my husband and I said to my husband, he said, where do you want to get married? I said West Hill, and I had to take him to West Hill.
Ta-da.
I had to take him to West Hill. It doesn't want to work.
Oh, push me.
It works when you get to it.
Haha, it's not working. Anyway, I don't know. I didn't touch it.
It times itself out.
It times itself out. They don't really need it. Oh, now we're in trouble. Not working still. Anyway,
Battery might have died.
so I took Lance to West Hill, and he absolutely fell in love with it on day 1. Day 1, he fell in love with it. So I had a horse and carriage carry me all the way over from, where is that place?
Over here by the
No, the other side. What? On the other side.
right there.
Shining Rock, Ray
Shining
City.
Rock, okay.
So we met the horse and buggy there, and they brought me and my son all the way over the bridge. We stopped on the bridge for photos. It was awesome. We get down to get married, and my son, he's 5 years old, on the ground, picking out bugs out of my train that we had collected along the way. So the whole wedding is my son picking out dragonflies and bumblebees, and it was absolutely the best. It was cool. It was an absolute gorgeous wedding. So, but I grew up there. I could tell you every stick, we made the paths back then.
Yeah.
And we had a ranger who
Who
used
gave
to
you the
live.
driving lesson that your mom didn't know about? See, I
There's a lot of stuff
I have
that
a
we
lot of
Lot of
other
history
stories.
we had one ranger who had. Do you guys know the thing that drives around town? The car owned by well, it doesn't matter, but she drives a thing. We had a ranger who had one and would take us driving on the side of the dam. Scared the bejesus out of us. And he would go, and what we were doing, we were searching for turtle eggs. That was our job.
You didn't break them.
No, we were covering them
Good job,
with
thank you.
nets,
Just
with the
making
green
sure.
mesh things.
Okay.
That was our job one whole summer, was looking for turtle nests. So, I mean, I had an amazing life. I wouldn't trade it for the world. I wish kids could still do that sort of thing, but it's not the same world anymore.
No, it's changed. Well, we
Yeah,
try
we
to
did-
keep it going with Junior Ranger and everything, so.
We did come home, and believe it or not, my mom had this voice. And when she yelled for us to come back, every kid in the pond came back. Because they were afraid that it was time to come back, so, yep.
So unfortunately, we're going to start wrapping up because I want to share one other thing with you.
Now it's blue.
Good. We're going to go right into the present moment and the other thing. Oh, there we go. Better? Yes. Okay, so later stop by and check out all these pictures, the ones on your table, but I think one worth mentioning very quickly is Sharon, and I don't know her married name, but her maiden name would have been Clarkin, still lives down here in Uxbridge, and her dad, okay, thank you. Oh my gosh, small world. Thank you. Good old John. He started there in 57, went over to Buffinville 89, and came back till just before 91 when I started there. John and I still talk to each other out on the Cape all the time. He is retired, but he's out on the Cape. And his daughter, in those older pictures on your table real quick, in that little white dress with the Easter bonnet type hat and the little white patent leather shoes, she was 3. She came back for the 50th with her dad. Watch me not get to it. And that's her cutting the cake about 11 years ago at West Hill when we did the 50th. So these will all be up here. So last 2 things I'm going to wrap up with, and then we can just, you can ask questions or whatever makes you happy. Although I did stick something in the time capsule. Most of you probably did something with old typewriter erasers and stuff, so I thought I should toss a few of those in that I rescued. And one thing I'm going to offer today, but if these go to your grandkids or someone else and they piss off Mom and all my whistles get buried, we have an issue. A big issue. Rangers pay duties and dues into this organization. These are boat whistles. I know most of you aren't kayaking, and if you do own a boat, though, you're welcome to one. But I thought if you're out walking your dog at night or something, or you walk places that you feel unsafe, then I don't mind it being a safety whistle off of a boat. But I do have some of those, so see me afterwards. But if you turn them over to all the kids and I have all the mothers calling and Mom buries these for what we paid for them, we're going to have a chat. And the last thing that I will just offer, and I have the brochures here, but you have a chance, opportunities that are out here under the America the Beautiful program. Some of you may have been to some national parks, so later today tell somebody about your favorite parks. But in this area from Boston to Minuteman and going up to the White Mountains in New Hampshire and that, we have the America the Beautiful Senior Pass program as one option. It is a pass to all these federal agencies, which take these with you so you can see this up closer, but from Forest Service, Bureau of Land Management, National Park Service, the Corps of Engineers, any of these that have an entrance fee. There are 3 different ones. One would be if you're on some type of permanent disability or receive disability income. It can't just be a handicapped parking placard. You have a free pass called a handicapper access pass. Call us up, make an appointment, or maybe we can schedule one day down here for an hour and do passes or something. 2 other choices. When some people from Uxbridge were going on a cruise 2 years ago, they bought a senior annual pass for $20 to get into all the parks the cruise ship was going for $20. It's good for 1 year from the month you buy it. When it expires, don't lose it. If you decide at that point you want a lifetime pass for the rest of your life, you get $20 credit with that old card to pay towards the $80 one, which would now only be $60. Or the senior lifetime pass is good for you and up to 6 people in your vehicle and a spouse is $80 for the rest of your life. So any questions, catch me afterwards because I don't want to, my clock watchers were supposed to come up here and smack me or something.
Can we all thank Viola for coming? Yeah. We have some questions.
Oh, I had more fun than you all did. I got to see Dorothy and Bruce and everybody. Oops. Oh, questions. Oops, wait a minute. Oh, that's right. She asked first. Hang on. That's my question. Oh, good. Well, I thought you should say it is in the Weasel family. You got, oh no, it's not as big as a fisher. Rhymes with sink. And we'll eat plants and animals living in the river. Burrows into the bank. That's a mink? That's a mink. That's a mink. It's a little, unfortunately, not in the dark phase and not in a phase where old George Puddles from town here, his brother Eddie, they all came here to the senior center all the time out there. He was your old trapper from us.
You don't find out the West Hill.
Oh, we do, but way upstream. Because guess what? There are beaver, otter, and mink on the West River.
I wonder if any of the ladies in here own one around their neck.
I have, that's true.
Yeah, all right.
And I had no idea that a beaver this time of year will defend its little cubs or kits, I think is the word right now, I'm trying to think of it, in the beaver lodge and will actually take out a full-grown otter. So the otter is on the other side of the river, waiting for the stocking truck, which is due today with all those rainbow trout, and the mink is upstream.
I had a river otter in my backyard.
Exciting. Well, it might have went elsewhere only while the beavers are having their babies. Okay, but it'll be back. But otters also have to have mixed forest plus the river. It's a very clean habitat. An otter is a sign of a healthy, wonderful river. Oh, okay. Well, it's out there. It's just the beavers chased it right now. And then, what's the perfect temperature for a snake? And then I'm going back to your questions. Yeah, I hear 60. Any other takers? 75. Winter when they're frozen. Popsicles, snake sickles. So, all your future hikes at West Hill, when it's 62 degrees or higher, stomp and vibrate and make noise on the ground. You won't have to worry about snakes. But we do have an incredible, wonderful, they're out there, so come out and watch them crawl out of the den right now and make it before they even get to the next hole. It's fun. Any other questions? I could stay outside all day away from that computer and just go watch critters and people. That's what I call life, critters and people. Any other thoughts? Yeah, and I get to use that word too. And on the end or not. And when it's not a good ranger, I blame my twin. And my mother goes, honey, you don't have a twin. Oh, Mom, I'm a Gemini. She's rotten. She's rotten. And all I ever heard from my mother my whole life was, I'm shaking the 8 ball, and all I ever got was maybe and come back later. I said, there is a yes in that ball somewhere. I used to offer to buy her one. Oh, honey, don't spend your money. Maybe and come back later. That's all I ever heard.